Hey, what's up, everybody? C-Man here. Just wanted to pop up in front of this video and apologize. It's really hot in New Jersey, and in between my records this evening, I've been turning the air conditioning on. I forgot to turn the AC off and didn't realize it until the review was already recorded. So you're going to hear that in the background. Really, really sorry about it, but hopefully it's not too annoying. But that's it, man. Just wanted to say sorry, and now it's time for the Pass C-Man to take it away. Talk about this Will Ferrell and Rachel McAdams movie. Take it away, Pass C-Man! Hey, what's going on, everybody? My name is Corey, better known as the C-Man. I want to welcome you to another edition of the C-Man's Cinema Sit-Down. Back in the day, man, one of my favorite things, something I would just look forward to more than anything, is anytime Will Ferrell dropped a movie. And I'm talking like, I love Will Ferrell in general, his whole career. I've watched all the movies. Some of them don't work as well as others, but I still enjoy all of them. I can always find something to enjoy in a Will Ferrell movie. But from about the time of Old School till probably about, let's say, The Other Guys, Will Ferrell went on a tear where he was just, everything he made I adored. After that, it got a little bit rockier. You can't be 100% perfect all the time. But I think the other thing too is like that classic Will Ferrell movie, he just kind of started to get away from that. Well, I am happy to report there is a movie on Netflix right now that gets back much closer to those classic Will Ferrell movies that we all enjoy and love. What am I talking about? Why don't you pull up a chair, man? Take a seat. We're getting ready to dive in, spoiler free, into Eurovision Song Contest, the Story of Fire Saga. Right out the gate, the title of this movie screamed classic Will Ferrell to me. And this isn't like entirely classic Will Ferrell, although the movie certainly follows the classic Will Ferrell formula, and to some points, to a fault. Middle of the movie, you get that like classic where like Will Ferrell just creates some reason to get really upset or create a fight with the female lead, and then he storms off and leaves when he probably should stay. It's one of the moments in the movie that I was like, I didn't need that. Like, not in this movie. And those things kind of pop a little bit more when you have a 2-hour film that probably should have been a 90-minute movie. Those would be my biggest complaints about this one. Thought it was a little long, and because I thought it was a little long, there were some of those things that, like, fit that Will Ferrell formula where I was like, I wish we didn't do that. Like, that was a detour I didn't need. Like, we could have shaved that out, and this thing could have been a lot tighter. But that being said, I enjoyed Eurovision way more than I thought I would. Like, it's one of those, like, toward the back half of that brilliant run of Will Ferrell that I mentioned, where, like, I'm a fan of Blades of Glory. I know a lot of people who aren't fans of Blade of Glory. Right around that area, toward the back end of that run, where Will would, like, take on these characters that just, the minute you saw them, you're like, oh my gosh, look how ridiculous he looks. And he's playing an Icelandic wannabe singer. And like when you see the posters or the trailers, you're like, like, I want to think this is gonna be good or could be funny, but it looks like one of them Will Ferrell movies where I might be a little bit disappointed. And because that's how I felt, maybe that's why I enjoyed it as much as I did. I thought you get some really great laugh out loud classic Will Ferrell moments in this movie. And I honestly just thought that the approach to the movie and the material, right? You're talking about song contests. I thought a lot of that stuff worked really well, like the satire of the song contest universe, especially on the world level versus like just here in America's level. But like I just thought a lot of those things worked, and immediately the way the movie opens just pulls you in where it's like, okay, I'm interested now. It's almost like, mild spoilers, like a music video to kind of start. Never in a million years could you expect what you see when it happens, but it's fantastic, and you're just like, okay, I wasn't sure about this movie, now I'm in. And like I said, the movie definitely has ups and downs. Like I said, it's a little long, and not everything that Will Ferrell does in the movie lands. His character, Lars Eriksson, which I think is funny because he wants to be a songster, is, this character who sees one of these song contest shows as a little kid, and just dreams of being on that show, which is the culture climate that we live in right now. Almost anybody you see on, like, American Idol says, I grew up watching American Idol, even to the point where, like, you're probably getting to, like, people who come on The Voice now are like, when I was a kid, I watched The Voice, because these talented singers are like 16 years old nowadays. Sometimes 12 if you're watching like America's Got Talent and stuff. But anyway, like, so it's that vibe. Like, that's what the culture and the generation he's talking about or to. And there's a female, Sigrid, Erik Stotir. I can't do the Icelandic names. I'm sorry, I butcher these. And those are fake names I'm apologizing about. But she's played by Rachel McAdams, and there's this like funny thing where it's like they grew up together and were always together, so people assume that they're siblings, but they're not. So and that plays into all sorts of great things in the movie. Some of those like laugh out loud moments play into some of that stuff. But Rachel McAdams plays the grown-up version of her, and together they have formed this not great Icelandic band duo called Fire Saga. And while I think Will Ferrell has some great moments, but isn't like a knock out the park, crush the whole movie. I think the dips in the movie kind of come from some of his stumbles. None of that exists with Rachel McAdams. Oh my good God, she is so good in this movie, man. Like, she steals the show without a doubt. And it's one of those things where she just continually surprises me, and I feel like I probably shouldn't be surprised at this point because she is so good, but there's something about when dramatic actors come into the world of comedy. Either it works or it doesn't. And when she did Game Night with Jason Bateman a year or so ago, that was like, I was like, wow, who knew Rachel McAdams could be so funny? Now, granted, she was also in Mean Girls, but her character wasn't like fun, So, it's one of those, like, when I saw Game Night, I was just like, wow, man, this is like a side of Rachel McAdams I never saw. This movie, Eurovision, is even more of a side of Rachel McAdams I've never seen, and she just has so much fun with it. Like, someone with the caliber of acting chops as Rachel McAdams, you can very easily look at a movie like this and kind of go, what, really? But no, like, she just dives in, commits fully to it, and is just amazing the whole film. Like, she's so good, and the two of them are fantastic together. Like, when Ferrell and McAdams are both on screen, that's when the movie really thrives, specifically when they're in the contest stuff. From how they get into the contest to the things that happen to them during the contests, whether it's the auditions or just the way things go for them, that's always when the movie is clicking, man. Like, when they're both on screen, things are going sideways, how they deal, how they recover, those are the moments where you're laughing in stitches, man, and like, you're really enjoying the movie because it's a lot of fun. Those moments where the two aren't together are kind of some of the moments where the movie suffers and kind of dips a few times. And again, the length contributes to that. If you shaved the 20 to 30 minutes out off of this movie and made it tighter, I think everybody would be in love with it. I think it would have been a really, really great movie. But that being said, much better than I anticipated. And the overall cast is not small. Dan Stevens plays a German singer named Alexander Lemtov. Fantastic, dude. He's so funny, and it's like one of those things where it's like the minute he shows up, you're like, oh, this guy's gonna be the antagonist. And to some degree, he sort of is, but also isn't. His character has a really interesting run, and I loved everything they did with him. His interactions with Will Ferrell are great, and his interactions with Rachel McAdams, they have a bunch of interactions throughout the movie because he kind of like seemingly has a thing for her. So the way that plays and stuff, I just thought was really, really funny. Then there is again, another name I'm probably gonna butcher. Melisanthe Mahout, who plays Mita Xenakis. Mita Xenakis. That's what I'm gonna go with. Who's a Greek singer, and she kind of like knows Alexander, and they it seems like both of them are very interesting because it seems like they're kind of probably working together because they're buddies, and you don't know if you can trust them or not, and both of them have that dynamic to their character, and they play it so well. Like, anytime those two are on screen, you're getting really, really either funny or interesting moments. So I enjoyed both of them. Pierce Brosnan plays Will Ferrell's dad, who hates the fact that he's obsessed with the stupid show. So it's like one of those like dad who's super disappointed in his kid, and then like his kid starts to do things, and you're like, oh, maybe I should pay attention. And the way this Icelandic town responds to Fire Saga, and like watching the show and how I loved all that stuff, and that plays into Brosnan's story. But anytime Pierce pops up, I'm always happy. And you know that's like really the main kind of cast, and I think they all do a great job. You know, as far as supporting Ferrell and McAdams. And like I said, the movie just ends up being a lot funnier and better than I expected it to be. It was really kind of a pleasant surprise the other night. And shout outs and props go to director David Dobkin, who, you know, did Wedding Crashers, but also like dramatic movies like The Judge, and not so great funny movies like Fred Claus. So like he fits in with this group, and here I think he really succeeds. He does some really fun stuff from a filmmaking standpoint with the camera, because when you're doing these performances, they're really big. Like, and it's kind of the feeling I would have like the international version of a show like American Idol or something. It feels like it's a world show. It should be really big, and everything in this movie is really big. And the way they kind of play with that, I just thought he makes this movie work so well for stretches. Like I said, probably 30 minutes you could cut out. But outside of those dips, like, he goes on runs where you're like, man, this is, like, really good. And again, gets the best out of his actors. And that's all that you really want from your director. You want your director to be able to take you from point A to point B in an interesting way and get the best out of the group of people that he's working with. And that's, I think, one of the reasons this movie thrives. Because this movie very easily could have gone south. Like, there are all sorts of ways I could have seen this movie go south and just walked away going, damn it, man, I might never see a good Will Ferrell movie again. But fortunately, that's not what happens here. And now I'm, like, more excited for whatever comes next for Will Ferrell. And certainly, whatever comes next for Rachel McAdams, because I adore her. She's so good. But yeah, man, Eurovision Song Contest, the Story of Fire Saga. What a little pleasant surprise. Like I said, it's a lot of fun. The Icelandic stuff and the way they play, like when they play like the shows in their town, there's a request that's quite frequent. Hysterical. And the way they use that and reference that throughout is really funny. Like, it just, oh man, like I just loved all that stuff. And it's one of those things where it's like I said, this is a movie that could have gone south really fast, and I'm sure there's probably a good handful of people that'll say that this movie went south really fast. But for me, it felt more like I could be excited for things that Will Ferrell has coming down the pipeline. So I enjoyed Eurovision. Thought it was a pleasant surprise. The question I have for you is, did you think Eurovision was a pleasant surprise? Have you checked out the Netflix Will Ferrell, Rachel McAdams flick? If you did you like it? Did you enjoy it? Did you think it was funny? Or is this one of those movies that just kind of falls into that later part of Will Ferrell's career where that just doesn't always seem to work? Whatever you think about the movie, if you saw it, please put that down below. If you haven't seen it, have we enticed you? You know what I can see with this movie is something like The Other Guys. I wasn't a big fan of The Other Guys. The more I watch the movie, the more I love the movie. I think this movie's going to have a lot of rewatchability. So if you haven't seen the movie, have we enticed you to want to see it and hopefully maybe see it multiple times? Whatever you're thinking, man, go down below in the comments section and leave your thoughts there. I look forward to talking to you down there. And as always, if you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up. And if you're new and you want to show a little love, a little support for the old C-Man, jump over there, man. Hit that subscribe button. Hit the little bell that follows if you want those alert, to pop up on your devices. And until next time, for the C-Man Cinema Sit Down, I'm the C-Man. I'm signing off. Peace. Well, oh B, you guys are still here? You must be looking for some more content. Well, don't worry, C-Man's got you covered, man. You got videos like this guy and this guy. And if you haven't yet, and you want to come check out all the C-Man goodies, join the Cinema Sit Down squad, man. Hit that subscribe button. And don't forget to hit the little bell down below that, too, so you can get alerts every time I make new videos.